Welcome back, everyone, to the Theta Communications video series. Today, we'll be diving in to the circular financing debate in the traditional space and what it means for the crypto AI space as a whole. Before we proceed, let us thank our Theta stakers as well as our Tfuel stakers over on ThetaCommunications.com. You make this content possible, as well as make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below to boost Theta-related content in the YouTube algorithm. All right, let's head on over to Substack here. Brendan has done a great job in highlighting some of the misconceptions within the space, but also highlighting the past, what pieces of the past matter, and how we can compare them to what is occurring today. So I think the greatest piece right here is the comparison to fiber in the 2000s here, where fiber was going gangbusters and was going up and up and up in value, and then collapsed in 2002. But from that, though, right, you had the outcome of the modern internet. Because the prices became so cheap, they were able to be bought up, utilized, and the modern internet as we see it today, the foundation was built. So, and this is what gave us YouTube, AWS, Netflix. And then I think what Theta did really well was they kind of identified this in a similar fashion. They saw that, hey, bandwidth could potentially get more expensive as the internet is used more and more. So hence comes about Theta with bandwidth sharing. Now, bandwidth, though, did not get more expensive in this case. And what Theta realized, and I really appreciate the team for doing this, is that they needed to pivot to physical hardware and making sure their product is touching something with a physical piece tied to it, or multiple physical pieces within the compute space. And that's mainly because circular financing and some of the exhibits that Brennan had brought up here, why is software as a service the wrong one? And because it's so asset light. AI is asset heavy. And when you have AI being asset heavy, these components, if the value or the profitability drops, they still exist in the world, and they are going to look for a router that is going to help them find some form of profitability or utilization in the free world here. So that is where Theta and varying other AI protocols are really coming into the forefront once certain valuations change and things occur going forward. So being asset heavy is a big important piece, and it's really why I appreciate what Mitch and team did transitioning from something that was asset light or possibly was not going to be going up in expense value, because the reality is the AI space could not occur if bandwidth continually got more and more expensive. It's another bottleneck in the chain. So now what Mitch and team are doing is they have found products and services that they can attach themselves to, that we can attach ourselves to with the edge nodes that are heavy right now. And when they become lighter, Theta actually becomes this amazing router that will increase the flow of these assets when they are looking for a home, in a similar fashion to Theta being just like someone who owns an office building right now, and they are converting that office building to dorms or apartments, right? Because they know the asset still exists. And because the GPU, the memory still exists, is that it needs flow, though, and it needs to be cash flowed. So if they can exist and fill that gap to flow those assets, post whatever this financial situation is, if they can survive the circular financing of NVIDIA, OpenAI, then this will be the greatest thing going forward for the token model for Theta here, because you're going to get a lot of flow. And from that flow, you have your customers paying in fiat or stable coins, and the revenue converts to Tfuel, and then that is paid out to us running edge nodes. Anyone who's running edge nodes gets paid out for providing those resources. Now, people running edge nodes could be large corporations, could be CoreWeave, could be varying others in this process here. But you are building another economy that is going to incentivize users to take something that is very asset heavy and lighten it up a bit, but also make it so that it's useful in a post-financial evaluation world. The value props of memory and all these things with GPUs is only constraining innovation going forward. So things like Theta that are going to help create flow on these heavy assets, these physical heavy assets, I'll say, are going to be everything going into the future. So this was a really great piece, and especially talking about the different analogs with vendor financing and talking about how this compares to who's at risk here. And I really think the investors into the hardware companies and the companies that are dealing in some of these business models where they're borrowing against the hardware value. The problem is if the hardware value drops off, then your collateral is not good, and you're up for default. And so this whole system depends upon, or the current system depends upon, high prices of GPU and conversion and being able to charge the client a higher and higher price. The problem is, though, the Chinese models have been getting much better, and with the Chinese models, if they can keep making things cheaper, it hurts the ability of the hard asset to continually produce a higher and higher revenue touch point. So, and the bigger thing too is the Anthropic and various others, they're all looking for ways to lock in clients so that they have to keep utilizing the protocol and it can't easily be switched over to a different model or different service. It's a very hard task to do in this space because it's large language models learning, studying each other, and then transposing to another with very little friction or human interaction in between. So this whole system here is in dire need of a reset to a degree. And the reset, I think the people that are investing in NVIDIA and varying others, I think a lot of these people, just like what Brendan's saying, they will be holding the bag. And the investors are going to be holding the bag, but the end game, there's going to be so much spun out of it in value term for society, in terms of Theta, the processing, the ability to actually flow tons and tons of data to that next level where we are more autonomous with these systems is going to be amazing. But everyone who's investing right now is kind of caught in that chasm between the financial world and the reality of the world. So we have to live in the reality world and realize we're still probably a year and a half, 2 years out. We got to see some spin out or some convergence of CapEx spend and revenue being produced to really justify where we are right now. And if we can't find that revenue, then obviously there is some spend that is overdone, and we need to come back down to earth, find the baseline. A lot of businesses need to go out of business, and then from there, rise from the ashes like a phoenix and be a supporter, savior of this space and these office buildings, I'll quote, that need to be converted to dorms and apartments. All right, everyone. I hope you found this video well. Please go check out this Substack. Very well done. This is a great read. Great insights on history, different industries. Just overall a great piece here. So big shout out to Brendan for this. All right, everyone. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. And as always, I'll see you on Tfuel Island. Take care. Bye-bye.